So I struggle being a TA in this work because I live in a low-income neighborhood and I work with my partners. And so sometimes I could be a little cynical about like working with institutions around this, and especially those of the next institution I'm about to say, because it has national reputation. So like UVA and any academic institution, I'm a little adverse to. But I have to say that I am so just blown away by the work that Rebecca and Siri and the whole group there has just disrupted a lot of systemic things. So I'm gonna have, I'm happy to have Rebecca and Siri share a little story.
So is it okay if I stay seating? Okay, thank you. So hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm from the University of Virginia, and this is Siri Russell. She is from our neighboring county of Albemarle County, and she is one of the partners we have for our project. We proposed a project to work with our community to create an equity atlas, so basically a big mappy tool that would help our community share information that would help to power a lot of the work that our community is already doing around equity, right? Sitting in an academic library, we're not really the best positioned to be doing the work on equity in many cases, but we knew there was great work going on, and we thought helping share information and data around that would be something where we could maybe move the needle. It has been a huge learning journey for me, but also for our institution, I think. And I want to start by sort of kindly calling out something that Marvin said, which was that our project is in reaction to I think he said the riots of Charlottesville. So many of you probably saw the national news about the Unite the Right rally that showed up in Charlottesville in 2017. First, I wouldn't say it was a riot. It was an act of racial terrorism. It was a Nazi rally. And our project really starts in 1619, right? The Unite the Right rally, all those acts of terrorism, come out of a really long legacy in Charlottesville of white supremacy. You know, the University of Virginia, when I show up in a room, I wear the badge of the University of Virginia because that's where I'm working. And what that means to many members of our community is that I come from the plantation, and they call it that, rightfully so. Our university was built by slaves. Our founder is a slaveholder. Let's see, we were the seat of the eugenics movement at UVA. So, woo, yeah. We stole the bodies of African-American residents to advance our medical findings at the medical school. So we have a long legacy, right, of being very untrustworthy of the community around us. And I think when we began this program or this project as a team, we thought, this is great, right? Like, we're finding a way to bring some resources, you know, to make a difference in this. But we found out pretty quick that you can't do that without trust. And frankly, we don't deserve the trust. Even on a sort of person-to-person basis, our community is used to the university saying either, cool, we've got the solution to your problem because we've got the PhDs, right? Or they're coming in and they're saying, yeah, we'd love to work with you. They demand a lot of time and resources from nonprofit organizations to sort of partner with classes or other entities at the university. And then the students all do their work and turn in their papers and get their grades, and the community members never see the work that actually came out of those relationships, but they've given of their time and expertise. communities see their expertise published without any credit to the expertise, right? So this is all the stuff that we didn't quite know, like we knew, but we didn't quite know that this was all what walks into a room along with our team. And so very quickly, we learned that we are coming from a place of really needing to beg people to give us a chance, right? So we walk in and we have to say, you have no reason to want to work with us. I get that, right? But I'm hoping that you will, and we'd love the chance to work with you and support you until you believe that we really do want to be partners in this. You know, I say that and I talk about some of those injustices as though they're in the past, but they're not. So just this past week, you know, in the middle of us trying to build partners and gain trust of our university, right, or of our community, a story comes out that the University of Virginia Medical Center and Hospital has been suing local residents for unpaid bills, putting their houses in that word, bad stuff, right? Collections, garnishing wages for payment, right? And I'm like over in the library trying to do like, oh, information sharing is caring, right? And all of a sudden now, my relationships with our community partners come with this as well. So there's been a lot of like, okay, we have this huge bureaucratic institution that's been doing a lot of nasty stuff for a long time and is maybe trying to get its house in order. Like, I really do think like we're doing some things that suck a little bit less than we used to. But there's a lot of reasons that community don't see us as a trustworthy partner. And so we're starting from that. And so one of the reasons we are lucky enough, I think, to have Siri sitting next to us is because we finally realized, you know what we really need to do is just go out and find out what people are doing and try to find out what we can do to help them, right? So, you know, you want to talk about that at all, Siri? I know, I'm like, surprise microphone.
I just happened to be sitting right here. There wasn't a, and then I was like, oh, they're doing a thing. You don't have to hold that, I guess. No, I don't really have much to say. I think you said a lot, Rebecca, a lot to absorb there. Just with the reality of the partnership. But it's right, I think in terms of our partnership and what the university has offered to us, and I should start by saying, like, who is this person, right? So I work for Albemarle County, as Rebecca said, in our Office of Equity and Inclusion, which is, you know, a relatively new thing for us. Similarly to the university, you know, local government has is not exactly a huge trust building statement in the community, but we have even more obligation in a lot of ways. And even more ownership. So this partnership, I think, has been built with probably two like low trust and even lower trust entities who have a lot of ownership in creating the disparity that currently exists in our community. And it is considerable. You know, Albemarle County and Charlottesville is actually in the center of Albemarle County, but we're separate for a lot of reasons. But our community, you know, we're one of the wealthiest in Virginia, but we're actually in the bottom third in terms of economic mobility. We have a pretty significant gap in life expectancy between our white and Black residents, close to 13 years, actually. And something that I like to say is that you can do a lot in a time frame like that. So the work that the university has been doing for us has really been providing resources and a space to work, to get out into the community. We are about to go together on an equity roadshow, is what we're calling it, where we've got 726 square miles to cover. 95% of it is rural area. I mentioned that we're one of the wealthiest counties in Virginia, and that's true. But we also have a lot of folks who are not experiencing that wealth. And at the same time as we have many a former plantation that's been turned into either a winery or a horse estate, we also have folks that are living, you know, in chicken coops and in places with no floors. And so, and those are the places that we're going together to try and bring ourselves to folks where they currently are. So we're going to gas stations, laundromats, corner stores, any sort of gathering place that already exists in the rural area where people might be, and asking them about their experiences, but also what an equitable community would look like. And then the work becomes how we actually create that community.
Yeah, and I'll just sort of follow up on that. Like, so you can see how that's not necessarily key to, like, okay, how does that feed back into what we call an equity atlas, right? But we are, I mean, that's our learning process, right? Is how are these community members, you know, how do they think about their own community? How would they express equity, right? And also we're interested, we've learned that we need to care a lot about what are the concerns around an equity atlas, right? So I think when we applied for this grant, we were thinking a lot of quantitative data, right? And now we know that that can be really harmful and stigmatizing. Got it. So we're working on changing those definitions and sort of, you know, being part of Siri's amazing work in the county is one of the ways that we're trying to augment our own learning and thinking about what we, you know, might work toward together.